It's the middle of the night. Inside a dark, flooded mud hut, a young woman screams in the agonizing final stages of a complicated childbirth. Just outside that door, her husband and father-in-law sit by an open fire. Ignoring her cries, they frantically shove scalding hot potatoes into their mouths. Neither man will go inside to help her. They are paralyzed by a single, overriding fear. If one gets up, the other will steal their share of the remayfiv. To us watching, this scene is repulsive. These men appear to be irredeemable monsters, missing the basic empathy that makes us human. But in his short story, Kafan, or The Shroud, Indian author Munshi Premchand presents a strict, grounded observation of systemic poverty. He forces a terrifying question on the reader. How exactly does generational starvation mutate human biology and psychology to a point where a potato is valued over a family member's life? By morning, the screaming has stopped. The young woman is dead. The two men have zero resources, and the wider village around them begins to wake up. Local tradition dictates strict rules for the dead. The men must purchase a coffin, a pristine white shroud, to properly cremate the body. For them, it is an impossible expense. So they leave their hut and walk into the village to beg for money from the local zamindar, or landlord, and other wealthy elites. This diagram illustrates the historical zamindar system they live under. At the base, you have massive numbers of peasant laborers generating resources, but all of that wealth flows directly upward to a single landlord, keeping the workers permanently trapped in debt. While the young woman was alive and slowly starving to death, these elites fiercely protected their wealth. They refused to give the family a single coin or scrap of food. But now that she is dead, the wealthy elites eagerly open their wallets. They immediately donate the funds required to preserve their own sense of religious and social decency. The village operates on a grotesque economic paradox. A living, suffering human holds absolute zero value, but a dead body possesses immense social capital. The men arrive at the bustling local market, surrounded by the overwhelming noise of active commerce. In their hands, they are holding the funds they just gathered. For the first time in their lives, these starving men possess actual, spendable money. They stand there, staring at the expensive white cloth, and the dark reality of their situation takes hold. They question why they should waste life-saving resources on a piece of fabric that will literally be burned into ash in a few short hours. They bypass the cloth merchant entirely, turning their backs on the shroud and heading straight into a dark, crowded tavern. Inside, they spend every single cent of the funeral fund. They consume a massive, gluttonous feast of fried fish, puris, and alcohol. There is no guilt. Drunk and gorged on food, the men loudly bless the dead woman, praising her for finally giving them a full stomach. Decades of relentless deprivation have completely destroyed their moral compass. To them, this betrayal registers as a practical, divine blessing of survival. Zooming out from the specific actions of these two men reveals the mechanics of their rigged society. These men learned years ago that breaking their backs with hard labor only enriched the landlords. No matter how hard they worked, they were left starving at the end of the day. Their notorious laziness and apathy act as a logical form of rebellion. It is the only agency they have left in a system designed to trap them. Look at this cross-section illustrating the biological reality of extreme poverty. When survival becomes a minute-by-minute struggle, the amygdala expands its influence. The brain shuts down higher-order functions like empathy to aggressively prioritize caloric intake. Premchand makes it clear that the true villain of Kafan is not the two starving men. It is the deeply hypocritical society that manufactured their condition, and the society that sits safely judging them. A community is perfectly willing to wrap a corpse in pristine white cloth to feel righteous about its own traditions, while comfortably looking the other way as the living rot in the mud. It leaves us with a haunting question. Is morality an inherent human trait, or is it merely a luxury afforded only to those who know where their next meal is coming?